Hello and welcome back to Guided Souls. I'm your host, Katie, and I'm so excited to be back here for another week with you guys. If you prefer to watch instead of listen, you can head on over to my YouTube channel at Guided Soul Crystals, and you can also follow me on all the socials at Guided Soul Crystals. Y'all, it has been a doozy of a day, a doozy of a week, a doozy of a first week of August. I knew that August was going to be a very big transformational month for me. I knew that there was going to be a lot of energy, a lot of forward movement, and a lot of things happening in August, but I wasn't prepared for the storm of things to hit me. And I do think that, sort of similar to ego deaths and the episode that I did a few weeks ago, when there is something that you are trying to clear, when there is a transformation that you are going through, it's not rainbows and butterflies. It's not just smooth sailing. It is, okay, we need to really make sure that you clear this so that you can move forward. So we're going to keep bringing this stuff up until we know that you have moved through it. So that definitely still feels like the phase that I'm in. Although I will say this does feel like there are positive things happening along with things crumbling away. And instead of just sort of all around ego deaths, this very much feels centered around removing an energetic block from my solar plexus that I did not realize was there. And the solar plexus actually has a lot to do with your ego. So again, this is kind of like a continuation from the ego deaths episode in a lot of ways, but a little bit more honed in, specific, and further along, I suppose, in the ego deaths process of realizing that there has been this block on my solar plexus for so long, years, maybe decades, I'm not sure. But the solar plexus is what is responsible for your personal power, your sense of self, abundance, just how you view your role in the world, how you set up boundaries with people in the world, what you will expect and accept of people. Like, it's a lot surrounding inner power and personal power. And if you have a block on your solar plexus, you are likely blocking a lot of stuff from coming in, but also blocking your ability to fully step into your personal power. There's some different schools of thought in terms of what chakra actually connects you to the divine, and it's honestly likely a combination of them, but a lot of people will say that your life force stems from your solar plexus, and therefore it is the root of your ability to connect with the divine, because that is where your spirit and your soul lies. And kind of leaning into that school of thought and actually even just becoming aware of it is what made me realize, oh my gosh, there has been all of this like blockage and energetic gunk that has just been building up on my solar plexus chakra for years. And I started working with a medium and reading her book to kind of learn a little bit more about the way that she does things, Kay Reynolds. And she definitely goes by the idea that our souls and our spirit emanate from our solar plexus. And so she has these guided meditations that will start with you recognizing this light in your solar plexus, and it grows through your entire body, and then it expands past your body, and then it expands even further, and then you connect with spirit as you're expanding your solar plexus chakra and that energy. And it's called sitting in the power. So I have been practicing that a lot, and it is one of the things that is supposed to help a connection, specifically if you are a medium or a psychic, or even if you're just trying to develop your own spiritual gifts, it can be helpful for that too. But in doing that, I've had these moments of such clarity of that channel that it is jarring how unclear that channel is for me most of the time. And so really these past couple weeks, this past week and the month of August is like a really big push for me to clear away this blockage and therefore to unblock myself from the personal power that I need to step into. And there have been some really interesting things that have been happening as I have discovered that I needed to remove this block, and I've been working on removing it. First of all, I've been working a lot with citrine. I have my citrine pendant on necklace right now. Tiny little plug, if you're looking for citrine jewelry, go to guidedsoulcrystals.com. I will eventually have just like citrine crystals up on there if you're not into jewelry, but I don't have that right now. But anyways, citrine is really great for working with your solar plexus chakra. And I like this necklace a lot because it just hangs right where your solar plexus is. And if you don't know where that is, it's just like a little bit above your belly button, kind of below your ribs in that area. So I've been working a lot to unblock this, and I've been having similar themes that have kind of come up that I have no idea where they're coming from. And then I kind of lean into it and I'm like, oh, okay, this is part of the gunk that I need to clear. And one of those things, which is honestly kind of strange and vulnerable to admit, is this feeling of craving chaos. And I feel like these past couple weeks, my brain has been searching and almost craving for something chaotic to happen that will make it so that I don't have to keep going down this path. And at first I was like, why? I feel happy, healthy, stable, like I'm on the right path. Why am I looking for this like disastrous thing to happen? And of course I want everyone to be, healthy and safe. But I'm like, what if there was just something that made it so that, I didn't have to focus on this right now and I could focus on something different. And it's almost like that. I don't know if anyone else experienced when someone else would like break their leg in school as a kid. This is I can't be alone in this, but again, this is like weird and vulnerable to admit that I'd be like jealous of the kid that broke their leg because they got to take time away from school. They didn't have to do PE. They got some attention. People were like helping them, like carry their lunch and all that kind of stuff. Like they didn't have to do as much stuff for themselves. And there was a part of me that was just like, oh, that seems nice. And obviously as an adult and having been in, crutches for 3 months, it's terrible. It's not fun. And it doesn't matter if people sign your cast or not, it's still not fun. But as a little kid, you see that and you're just like, oh, that would be, kind of nice. Or I've heard moms say, or maybe this is more of like a joke on TV, that like just going to the hospital for a week would be like such a nice break if they just got to like lay in a hospital bed. And of course, I'm sure they are joking. I'm sure no one actually wants to have to go to the hospital, but it's that feeling of like, if something could just happen where I wouldn't have to take care of myself and everyone else and all of these things, and I wouldn't have to push and it wouldn't be so hard, would that be the worst thing in the world? And so I really wanted to examine where this was coming from, because at a surface level, it looked like, oh, I'm bored with my life and I need things to be shaken up so that I'm placed in somewhere different. And then as I examined it more, I was like, no, that's not it. Honestly, I think I am at a point where I know in my heart of hearts, and this is also weird to say, but I know in my heart of hearts that if I keep going down this path, that I will be successful, that things will continue to grow. I feel it down deep in my soul, and I am now faced with having to walk forward on that path, and it is scary. And I think what I realized is there's a part of me that has never actually believed that I am capable of sustaining greatness. I actually do think I'm capable of creating greatness because I've done it, but I've never been the person to just like stick with something, to be in it for the long haul, to, I don't know, even when I've stayed at a certain company for many years, like I was switching jobs frequently within that company. And I've switched schools many times, like growing up. It's just this lack of ability to commit to something that has always scared me and has made me feel like, what's wrong with me that I can't commit? And like when the going gets tough, I run away and I find a different route that feels safer instead of just like sticking it out. And that's not the case for every single time in my life. I've definitely stuck some things out, but I have this pattern of I get in too deep where I feel like people are going to expect too much of me and it scares me. So I back away and I just want someone else to take over for me. And I think that's what's happening right now is I realize that if I keep going, if my following keeps growing, there's going to be more of a public, spotlight, and people will expect certain things of me, and that's really scary. And so I'd rather just like go out the back door and not like worry about that anymore. And it's like I'm being faced with this pattern that I didn't even fully realize where it was coming from that I've been doing my whole life, and now I'm like face to face with it, and it's like, no, you have to push through this in order to remove this gunk that again has been there for decades. So I do think another part of like the craving chaos thing was just wanting someone to take care of me, to handle things for me. And I'm not saying that I'm never taken care of. I have, wonderful husband and all that sort of stuff. But while I do think that it makes sense to want and ask that of people at certain points in your life, and especially depending on who you are, I don't actually think that that's my path right now. I think my path is showing myself, hey, I don't need someone to bail me out right now. I don't need someone to take care of me. I don't need someone to sweep in and save the day. I've got this. And it's hard because I do struggle with asking for help. And hence like the chaos thing. Like sometimes I just want something chaotic to happen so that I don't have to ask for help. So that I don't have to ask for help and someone will just help me. But this is like, I don't need something chaotic. I can just pull myself up by my bootstraps and do this. And if I do need help, I can be an adult and ask for help. And that's kind of been a lot of what's been happening for me recently is I'll have this feeling or this knee-jerk reaction of wanting to do something or going towards something, and it's not towards mediumship. And so in the back of my mind, I know I'm pretty sure this is a distraction. I'm going to be curious about it. I'm going to give it time to unfold, but I'm pretty sure that this is a distraction. Like I've had several brands reach out to me in the past week offering me like brand deals. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically a brand will pay you money to make a video for them. Now, I'm not to like the follower level where I could make a living on that, but I could make some decent side money doing that. However, every time I have tried that before, it has been exhausting. I have never actually been like paid the amount that I thought I was going to. It like stresses me out. I don't think that the videos turn out good. They don't feel authentic to me. And I just end up regretting that I did it in the first place, especially if it's like not a product that I would normally use. But I'm like, all these brands reach out to me, and usually people are just offering commission, but these people were offering like actual cash money. I was like, oh, that sounds really nice to have in my pocket. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, but do you know what is actually making money? Your crystal business, your videos on TikTok, growing your following, like those things are bringing in money. And instead of just trying to invest more time in it, you have this like shiny little carrot that's dangling over here that you know is going to exhaust you. You know you don't like doing it. You know it doesn't feel authentic to you. So don't take it. And I feel like luckily I was able to like catch that early on and realize that it was just sort of this lesson coming in to be like, hey, we're going to give you this opportunity again. and hopefully you don't take it. But in the 12 hours from when I got the email to not responding, I like thought about it for 12 hours and I really kind of wanted to do it. I was like, well, I'll just try this and see. And luckily with time, I was able to see, this brand has nothing to do with anything that I do, so it doesn't make sense. I'm not saying I wouldn't do brand deals in the future if they actually align with the work that I'm doing, but I don't need to do a brand deal with like a company that has nothing to do with what I'm doing, and I don't know anything about them really. And I do think that so much of my abundance and personal power is just woven into one. I realized recently that my south node, I think it was, my south node and my north node, basically one of the biggest lessons of my life is to overcome prioritizing money over doing passionate work that helps people and that makes me happy. And so up until this past year, I was definitely prioritizing money. I have since shifted, but it's been like a very bumpy shift to do that. And part of these last little bits of doing that, just having all of these money challenges, things that I need to invest in, like things breaking down, things that I have to spend money on, important business decisions that I have to make regarding money are all coming up at once. And so I am getting real practice every single day when it comes to working through that relationship. And I think for me, what it really comes down to is having trust that money will come in for me, and it's okay to let go of some of it because I know that it's coming back for me. And that has been a balance that I have been dealing with. And part of the reason why today went so haywire is just like so many money things, which are just my least favorite type of problems, but they seem to be the ones that come up the most frequently for me, at least as of late. I have also found myself getting more upset more easily when people treat me poorly or just don't speak to me in the way that I know that I should be spoken to. And it is giving me an actual emotional reaction that is heightened. But even more than that, it's almost like my reaction is coming out faster than I even have time to process it. And I don't want to live my life as a reactive person. I really don't. But at the same time, I think what my brain is doing is like course correcting and just going a little bit too far in the other direction, that I have to stop putting up with certain people speaking to me in certain ways, with different, business things going the way that they're going, with people taking advantage of me. Like, I have to put my foot down and stop allowing that to be a thing. And if that means that I have to be a less than pleasant person in the process of doing that for someone to get the message that what they're doing isn't okay, then that's just how it has to be. And I do always want to be a kind person who leads with love, but I also have to be kind to myself and love myself. And so if that means setting harsher boundaries or speaking up for myself more often when something isn't right or I feel disrespected, then that's what I have to do. And so, in addition to the money stuff, I feel like I'm being disrespected and taken advantage of more frequently than I have been in the past. And one, I'm definitely trying to like fine tune my reactions so that it's not so emotional. I definitely think that you can set boundaries and be direct and get what you need without being rude or abrasive or anything like that. So I'm definitely working on that part. But it also is showing me that I don't have to stick with any of those people or like companies that are making me feel that way. Specifically within business, like I've had some really bad experiences with 2 companies in the past week, and it's more work, but I'm gonna switch vendors. I'm gonna switch companies. For one of them, it's like my website. So it is gonna take a lot of work to switch, but it's worth it to not have to deal with people who do not respect me, waste my time, take advantage of me. Like, it's worth putting in the extra effort to not have to deal with that in the future. And I think just recognizing that we're not stuck in most situations with any person or company or relationship, and you can set boundaries, and if they aren't respected, you know where the door is. And to not stay in something just because it's convenient or easy when you know it's actually going to cause you more harm in the long run. And maybe you'll say, oh no, but I'm sure it won't. I'm sure they'll change, or this is a fluke. No, this isn't a fluke. The universe is showing you who this person or this company is. And you can choose to set boundaries accordingly. And if they break them, then again, you know where the door is. Yeah, I think overall, just unblocking this block and energetic gunk on my solar plexus chakra has just been a daily battle of feeling empowered and disempowered and empowered and disempowered. And really, it has felt quite chaotic, and I have felt quite emotional and like I don't know which way is up. But I do feel like I'm coming out the other side a much stronger, self assured, confident version of myself who actually has the ability to sustain the type of greatness that is coming for me. And I think my tone and how I speak takes on different levels and energy depending on what the episode is about each week, but I do feel a certain strength in the words that I'm saying that I feel like is a little bit different today. Not to say that this episode is any better than the other ones. It might be worse. I don't know. I've had a long day, but all I know is that I feel this like strength emanating from me that these are the words that I'm meant to say today. This is going to find whoever it's going to find. I feel strong and self assured in what I'm putting out into the world. And I feel confident that I will have abundance returned to me because I am going towards what I feel drawn towards. And I think that's a lot of what really being in your solar plexus chakra and working from that place does is one, it opens up a more clear channel to the divine, to your soul, to your spirit. But when you're truly in alignment with it, what it does here in the physical 3D is it encourages you to find your abundance by going towards the things that you are drawn towards, that you are passionate about. And the tricky part is there will be little things that pop up, like those brand partnerships or whatever, that you may initially think that you are being drawn to it. But when you really uncover it, you're like, well, is that actually what I want to do? Or is this just distracting me from the actual abundance that lies beyond that? I read that, I don't know who it's by, but that book 10x versus 2x, going for the brand partnerships is 2x, ignoring that and fully leaning into my mediumship abilities and growing my platform and my crystal business, that's going 10x. So I don't need to waste my time right now with the 2x stuff when I know that I'm going for 10x. And that is a very like solar plexus chakra view to take on the world, and to know that if something excites me, if I feel like I am in my flow when I do something, if my intuition is telling me to go to a certain place, then I am going to go to that place knowing that it will lead to my abundance and trusting that it will lead to my abundance. And when you do that, all of the gunk, all of the distractions, everything that's been holding you back will just fall away. However, on your way there, all of those things are going to be like grabbing at your ankles and your hands, and you're going to have to like literally fling them off to be like, no, I'm still moving forward. No, you're not holding me back. No, I'm not falling for this again. And it is hard and it is tiring, but you can do it. Both of those things can be true. It can be hard, it can be tiring, it can be exhausting. And also, you can do it, you will do it, you must do it. Like, this is your destiny. All of those things can be true at one time. And I think when you recognize, I've never liked that saying, we can do hard things, but honestly, it is true here. Walking the path of your solar plexus chakra and really going from forward from that space is equally effortless and takes a lot of effort, because in order to get to the effortless, you have to use all of your effort to get rid of all of the things that are distracting you and holding you back. But once you do that, it is just like a clear forward movement into the path that you were always meant to go down. For me, a lot of that is centered around finances and career and success at this moment, but your solar plexus is about your personal power and abundance in every aspect of your life. So if that is not resonating with you, if that's not where you're at right now, absolutely look to different areas of your life, because your solar plexus can still be your leader if you allow it to be. It just really lends itself well to career, but it is wonderful for making sure that you are putting up boundaries and being respected in relationships. It is wonderful for cultivating friendships that are authentic, that are a two-way street. There's lots of different areas of your life that this can be applied to outside of just career. However, at least for me, and I think a lot of people who struggle to find their passion or find their path, or find abundance doing their passion or walking down their path, looking at this chakra and how we can remove these energetic blocks can be really helpful. So I'm actually going to link the meditation from Kay Reynolds. It's just a YouTube link. I'll put that in the description in case you're interested in trying it. It is half an hour long. If that's too long for you, you can just set a timer for 10 minutes or whatever. Try and do this on your own and just picture a light at your solar plexus chakra expanding out into all areas of your body and then beyond your body, up and out, and see if you can hold that light up and out for as long as possible for the duration of the meditation. That will really help you to open up that channel and start to open up and balance your solar plexus chakra. And you might be surprised by how much clearer your connection to the divine feels. But in particular, your connection to your own soul, your own spirit, your higher self. And I've always kind of struggled with the term higher self. Like, it makes sense that there is a higher version of me that is guiding me, but I think I've always felt a little bit disconnected to that term. And so I've started sort of adopting the wording of saying more like my spirit or the spirit within me. It's synonymous with the higher self, but one feels like it's up above you, and the spirit within me feels like it's inside me. And that just feels like I have a stronger connection to a spirit that is inside me, while also being able to open up that channel to the divine, which I, technically see as above me, but they're all around us all the time. So just, it's semantics. It really doesn't matter. But if you have kind of historically had a hard time connecting with your higher self or the idea of your higher self, you might want to try switching that wording to my spirit, my soul, my spirit within, and see if any of those will stick. Again, citrine will be helpful in this if you are interested in working with crystals or any other crystal that balances your solar plexus chakra. I really like to keep whatever crystal I'm working on, I keep it on my nightstand, and that will help me in my sleep to also work on this. And as I'm falling asleep, I will connect with my spirit, with my soul, with my team of light, and ask them to help work with me in my dreams. And I will really focus on the intention of wanting to remove that solar plexus block and work through that as I'm falling asleep. And then I record my dreams when I wake up in the morning to see if there was any movement, anything that I can remember. And even if I can't remember, I do know that they are working with me in my dreams, but it is helpful to be able to write it down and be like, oh, there's a sticky spot there. There's something going on there that I need to investigate. And aside from that, I've really just been adopting a mindset of curiosity and realizing that truly everything that is happening right now is happening for me and not to me. And so trying not to have that knee jerk reaction and rather being like, oh, this is a part of the transformation process. This is a part of removing this energetic gunk from my solar plexus. This is an important thing that I'm going through right now. I'm going to treat it and honor it with the respect. And it doesn't mean that it's not hard. It doesn't mean that it doesn't exhaust me, but I know that this is happening for me. And if I can just be curious about that, I can move through these obstacles a lot more quickly than if I just sit in them and feel like I'm stuck and why is this happening to me and aren't things supposed to be getting better? It's like by doing that, you're holding yourself back from things getting better. If you would just lean into it, you would realize that they actually are getting better much more quickly than they were before. As a recap, if you are working on removing any energetic blocks from your solar plexus chakra, some things that may come up is honestly just any repetitive patterns that you have that have been holding you back from stepping into your personal power. For me, I do think some of that was craving chaos, but it might look different for you. So be curious about that. You're probably also going to have distractions come up to entice you away from what your actual path is. So be cognizant and really think about, is this what I want? Or is this like a little carrot that's being dangled in front of me that isn't actually aligned with where I'm going? You may have more people cross boundaries or take advantage of you, or you may just be more aware of it and may have a stronger reaction to it. And really finding out that balance and how you want to react to that moving forward, making sure that you know where the door is and you can walk out at any time, and things that you can do to cultivate more of this sense of unblocking your solar plexus chakra, really working from your solar plexus chakra, is doing the meditation called Sitting in the Power that I'll link below, or your own version of it, working with citrine or other crystals that will align with your solar plexus chakra, maybe keeping them on your nightstand, setting the intention that you would like your spirit team to work with you in your dreams, recording your dreams, and really just going towards whatever you feel passionate about and knowing and trusting that that is what is going to lead to your abundance. So that is all that I have for you today. I hope that you found this helpful. I know that my energy was like a little bit more intense today, but maybe that's just the direction I'm moving in. So you never know. If you haven't already, if you've enjoyed this episode, you can share with a friend, make your Instagram story. Please make sure to rate, review, and subscribe. That helps me out so much. You can follow me on all the socials at Guided Soul Crystals. And for all your crystal needs, you can go to guidedsoulcrystals.com. Until next time, keep going. We are doing amazing, and I love you.